Hello everyone and welcome to Elite Dangerous. You can see it's a very pretty game. Extremely pretty. But for me today, Elite Dangerous is not the focus of my stream. What I want to do is start something similar to a podcast, and I don't necessarily have the equipment for a formal podcast such as something on SoundCloud, so I figured, why don't I take what I already know, which is live streaming, and just talk over something like a relatively relaxing game like this. Granted, this game is not always relaxing, and I may get cut short in what I'm saying if I get interdicted or something, and I'll explain what that is and everything else about the game after I run out of the topics that I wanted to talk about. But it is relatively relaxing, and I just figured, you know what, there's some, topics I'd like to talk about, and I've always wanted to start a podcast, so what better time than now? Now, this whole thing, I'm calling it the Casualcast for now, just because I'm awful with names, but that's subject to change. Pretty much everything is subject to change here. I may not be doing it on Twitch all the time. I may move it over to audio only on SoundCloud. I'm not really sure. It's all subject to change. Don't expect it to always be like this, because it may not be. Excuse me. What I am planning on doing with this particular stream, though, is highlighting the entire thing to keep it as an archive, but then highlighting the certain point, which is just my podcast type of area, to upload to YouTube and keep there, so that way you don't have to always come to Twitch and have to watch the VOD from here. So that's pretty much it. I may also make this an audio file to upload to SoundCloud, but I may not. Either way, I want it to be something that you can enjoy watching and listening to, which is why I'm playing a game with it, or just enjoy listening to, which is why I'm going to talk about different subjects. So, without further ado, this is the first episode of the horridly named Casualcast, but as I said, that's probably subject to change. And I do have some topics I'd like to talk about. The first one on my list is the HTC One M9 rumors. Now, I'm not usually someone who's interested in phone news and such, but recently I have been, mainly because I wanted to upgrade from my iPhone 4 to something new, and as it turns out, I got a HTC One M9. It's the best phone I've ever had. Granted, I have not had many phones, but nonetheless, it is absolutely fantastic. So the One M9 rumors, they kind of caught my eye, because generally you see something like on the One M8 and the One M7, they had the ultra-pixel cameras. The 4 ultra-pixels, which ultra-pixels are essentially just larger versions of megapixels. And I never had a problem with the camera. I just didn't. But, sorry, I'm kind of just trading things here. I never really had much of a problem with the camera because, in my opinion, a phone camera should have to be, you point and you shoot. It doesn't have to be the best quality on earth. I'm apparently the minority in that, though. Because when I saw it was just essentially 4 megapixels, but just better low light performance. I was fine with that. I don't use it enough to really justify getting something like the Nokia Lumia with the insanely good camera on it, because I don't think that's what a smartphone camera should be. But the HTC One M9 is rumored to have a 20.7 megapixel rear shooter. They're supposedly leaving the ultra pixels behind, which I know a lot of people are going to be happy about, but I don't know if personally I'm very happy with that. I can see why people would be happy about it, but personally I am not that much, because I'd rather have decent low light performance in case that I'm close up to something and have to take a picture when it's normally indoors, rather than only have decent pictures with good lighting. But anyways, let me run down the list of things that we think we know so far, because these are rumors. The HTC One M9 will have a unibody metal, much like the M7 and M8, a 5.5-inch to 5-inch display, which is also not that surprising. The M8 has a 5-inch. It is said to have the Snapdragon 810 processor in it, which I personally think sounds pretty okay. The 3 gigabytes of RAM, which is a 1 gigabyte upgrade from the M8. A 2,840 milliamp hour battery. I believe the M8 has a 2,600 milliamp hour battery, but personally, the M8 has fantastic battery life nonetheless, even though a lot of people they're not very into the whole, smaller battery, despite it actually having very good performance. So, hopefully the 2840 milliamp hour is going to suffice for enough people. What else? Let's see. As I said, the 20.7 megapixel rear shooter, a 13 megapixel, or potentially a 4 ultra pixel front-facing camera. I don't really care about front-facing cameras that much. I don't take selfies as they're coined. That's just not what I do. But I know HTC has been focused a lot on front-facing camera quality, so I suppose that's decent enough. Also, boom sound speakers, but this time, instead of going with Beats, which the M7 went with, or Harman Kardon, which the M8 went with — I have the Harman Kardon edition, by the way — they're thinking of going with Bose this time. So, yeah, okay. I'll take that. I'm sure Bose would be a perfectly fine partner for them, since, Harman Kardon and Beats also were. But, yeah, it's not really anything that special, I suppose. And then HTC Sense 7, which is the lollipop skin. Sense 6 is very good. I enjoy it a lot. This is my first Android phone, so I don't have anything to compare it to, but the Sense 6 skin over Android 4.4.4, which the M8 is on right now, it's great. I love it. The multitasking is just fantastic. Also, the app drawer. Well, the app drawer, I know with the leaked videos and such of Lollipop on HTC Sense, the app drawer still kind of fades in rather than having that material design flow out animation. But I mean, I guess it doesn't concern me that much, but what does concern me is when I saw the video on the leaked version of HTC Sense for Lollipop, they got rid of the multitasking that Sense 6 has, which I love so much, where you have the 9 tiles and each tile is, you know, a program or app that you're running right now, and you can get rid of them. They're completely doing away with that, and I'm not a fan of it at all. They're going with that card style, Google material design, and while it does look nice, it is not nearly as functional as the Sense 6 design, and I just don't know how I feel about that. Well, I do know how I feel. I don't like it, but what are you gonna do, I guess? Because it's just Sense 7, what I've seen so far of it is the thing I'm least interested in. Just because I don't want them to mess it up. It is perfectly fine the way it is as Sense 6. And I feel like they went the wrong way with having that fade-in app drawer, but material design, multitasking. I don't think that was the right way to go. Although I must say, Bose for the boom sound speakers, it might not be the most special thing ever, since they always do have something like that to go with. I still like it. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Like I said, this is a live stream. It's raw. I'm gonna sneeze and such. Now, if I can just check quickly. Sorry, I'm just reading this. Anyways, in the unibody metal, which the M7 and M8 also both had, I love the design, I love the feel of it, I think it's absolutely fantastic, one of the best ones on the market. But, at the same time, that gets rid of the replaceable battery and such, which so many people have a problem with. I'm not that concerned about not having a replaceable battery, mainly due to, I have never had a replaceable battery, really. Besides my first track phone, which was my first phone. I'm just used to it. I charge my phone overnight and wherever I can, and it's always fine. But I can see why people would be concerned with it. It's just not a personal concern of mine. The 5.5 inch to 5 inch display, I'm kind of hoping it's going to be Quad HD, but at the same time I'm kind of not, because Quad HD, that's more pixels to push, and it's just more power overall that you need. If they stick with a 1080p display, that sounds like it would be perfectly fine. Like, that would just work right out of the box and be great. It would still look good on a 5.5 inch display. It would still have very good battery life because it would have less pixels to push. It just sounds like a better idea all in all for me. But then again, I also only think 1080p will look very good on 5.5 inch display because my phone right now has a higher resolution than my computer monitor. So, take that as you will, I suppose. Um, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 810. I like it. I like the sound of that. Qualcomm, they make decent enough processors for phones. They just work. Like I said, I don't know much of the technology behind phones and such, so I just kind of go with what I've seen before. What I must say about the One M9 though is that switching from iOS to Android, the iPhone 4 was my first and only iOS device. The HTC One M9 is my first and only Android device. I like Android a lot better at the start than I did the iPhone 4 at the start. I just do. It works a lot better. It's just smoother. I can do a lot more with it. I can check my data usage. My battery history is much more pinpointed and exact than what the iPhone 4 would give me. It would just kind of tell me how many hours it's been since it was plugged in.
Landing gear retracted.
If you excuse me, I just have to zip out of here. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about. Early access games. That was also sort of thought of by me due to Elite Dangerous here, because this game is still pretty new. Just came out for the most part. Came out in December, but it's still fairly new, and before that it was in early access. And the reason why this game made me think of it, or the topic of early access games, is because it's often compared to Star Citizen. And what Star Citizen isn't compared to Elite Dangerous is released. Star Citizen is just not released, and no one knows what it's going to be like. Everyone has their own hopes for what it's going to be like, but that does not necessarily mean that's what it's going to be. Some people want it to be like EVE Online single player. Some people want it to be
drive charging.
like a combat sim,
2,
which I think it's going to mostly be less, because I know the system is going to be, or these systems are going to be handcrafted. There's only going to be about 100 of them in Star Citizen, so they're all handcrafted. So they're going to be very good systems, but you will eventually explore all of them. And Elite Dangerous, the way this game is doing it, is you have some handcrafted systems such as Sol or Cremain or Barnard's Star, I believe. Don't quote me on that, I don't actually know. But it's also procedurally generated, most of it. Because if I go to the Galaxy map, we see here that there are a lot of systems, well over 100. Now they may not all be handcrafted as Star Citizen wants them to be, but there's a lot to explore. You can really get around a lot more. You can get around a lot more, as you can see here. This is all explorable. You can get to all this. It'll take you a damn long time, but you can get to all of it. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't want to purchase Star Citizen right now mainly due to the fact that I don't know how it's going to be at all. It may be very good. Star Citizen may end up being way better than Elite Dangerous, and in that case, I'll buy it. But I'm not going to buy it now. I don't trust it enough now. All they have is the Arena Commander, I believe it's called. Yes, where it's just the combat part, and the combat part is not that polished right now, at least what I've seen of it. I mean, it seems like Elite Dangerous has a lot better combat right now, solely due to the fact that it's polished and it's out and it's just ready. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that. God, I'm not necessarily saying that just having an arena for an early access is bad. It's not. If you want to help them develop it, that's fine. But I don't want to buy it now because I want the final product, not just that arena. Take a game like Overgrowth, for example. Overgrowth is a game where most of what you do is either community-made levels or an arena. And I enjoy the arena in that game. I have a lot of fun with it. I have a blast. But I just... like, that's what I bought it for, pretty much, is the arena, the combat system. I'm not going to buy Star Citizen just for the combat system. I'm going to buy it to explore the universe, which I can't do right now. I mean, sure, fighting will be fun and all, but I just don't trust it right now. Not
Login
yet.
request granted.
Overgrowth, you buy that game for the combat. That's what the arena gives you. Sure, it has parkour and things like that, but... fire. So I just gotta figure out where I'm firing here. They're shooting something. Okay, anyways, like Overgrowth, the combat is very fun. That's what I buy it for.
Target shields offline.
But, you know. Oh. Just take it from the side.
Target shields online. Target shields offline.
I'm sorry. That's really fun.
Target destroyed.
Never mind. Anyways, so as I said, I purchased Overgrowth for the combat system, and that's what I have it for already. I'm happy with it. I got my money's worth. Sure, you have the parkour, but that's not the main focus point of it, it seems.
Warning, landing gear not deployed.
There's lots going on in here right now. I'm very confused, but...
Target shields offline. Under attack.
Oh, bollocks. I'm trying to help you.
Shields offline. Taking damage.
Uh-oh.
Hull integrity critical.
I'm trying to help the station, but I can't. What was it I was saying? Yeah, just, I wouldn't purchase anything like Star Citizen yet, because another early access game I purchased was Planetary Annihilation. Planetary Annihilation. That was fun at the start. That was very fun at the start. But when it was released, it did not deliver on everything it promised. It really didn't. And also, it ended up not running on my computer at all by the time it was released. While I could play it fine in the beta, I still can't run it actually. I'll be right back. I do need to use the bathroom, but I'll continue with what I'm saying. My apologies, I've returned. I suppose I shouldn't have drank 3 cups of coffee before starting this. But Planetary Annihilation, I'm sure that's a game I would love to play if I could actually play it. Because I love Supreme Commander. I love most any RTS, be it Supreme Commander, StarCraft 2. I just love real-time strategies. But I can't do it. And I just don't trust early access games that much anymore after Planetary Annihilation was released. I had already purchased Overgrowth and other things prior to that, but which is why I did purchase them, but I don't really want to purchase early access games anymore at all. Another early access game I purchased, Rodina. I'm very happy with what I've gotten for Rodina so far. It was $15, and it was $15 well spent. And the developer, he clearly states, I may never even finish this game. He tells you right out of the box that I'm fine with purchasing it if I'm happy with what I have right now. Because even if I'm not happy with what I have right now, because I was fairly warned, Planetary Annihilation, when it was released, it wasn't finished. And it still really isn't. Which I suppose you can say brings me right back to Elite Dangerous here. When they released this game, it's not really totally released, but it was released enough to the point where they hit all of their goals. Next, they want to release planetary landings and areas where you can walk around stations, such as this. So you could say it's not finished, but they finished what they wanted to do. Developers of Planetary Annihilation did not finish what they wanted to do, and I'm afraid Star Citizen is going to follow in those footsteps and just not provide. That's something I'm very afraid of happening. Let me just go here. Contacts. Huh. fair enough. So yeah, I don't trust any early access games anymore. I really don't. I want to. I want to love early access. But I can't. Because they won't let me. I suppose you could say. Is there anything I could purchase here and then take with me? It doesn't look like it. I need to make some money. Auto fabricators. Anyways. Oh, and next I want to talk about SpaceX. Now, I don't have anything negative to say about SpaceX. I just want to talk about them because of their recent semi-failure, semi-success
Ship release.
with the
Engines
Falcon
engaged.
9, I believe it was. I should have done my research on that. But
Landing gear retracted.
where they wanted to basically take a rocket into space and then land it onto a platform. Which, if anyone saw Elon Musk...
Scan detected.
Oh. If anyone saw Elon Musk's tweet after they basically... It didn't destroy the ship, but it didn't really land either. But his tweet was, "Close, but no cigar." And if you see the vine of it, it basically comes in at a 45-degree angle and then sort of hits the landing pad pretty hard. And the fact that they were actually able to get it to hit that landing pad, sure, they didn't land it, but they hit the landing pad with pretty damn precise accuracy. That's a feat all on its own, and a lot of people are just saying, "Oh, we're never going to get into space." Well, I don't mean never going to get into space, never going to get out of the, you know, let's just say we're never going to colonize Mars or anything. We very well might, because the next launch they do, I'm pretty confident they're going to land it. Because they learned a lot from that. And what they didn't learn were things that were already right.
Frameshift drive charging.
I'm
4,
pretty
3,
confident
2, 1. Engage.
that SpaceX is going to land that rocket, and when they do, that's going to cut down on the cost for space travel by a lot. Because when that craft hit the landing pad, it didn't destroy the craft. It's still functional. A lot of people think that it all just blew up, but really they just needed to replace a few parts and they're going to reuse it again. That in itself, I think it's a feat. That's amazing. So, I'm very confident SpaceX is going to land that craft on the landing pad, and then we're going to be taking right off to Mars within this generation. So I just wanted to put in my 2 cents in that. I'm very happy with what SpaceX has done so far, and I think they're going to do more very good things. Which, while we're on the topic about SpaceX and Elon Musk, let's talk about Tesla a bit. Tesla, the only cars I actually like. because they've got a huge range, especially for an electric vehicle. They're still putting up these supercharger stations, and I believe within the next, what was it, 5 years, maybe less? I don't really remember the amount of time, but they're going to have those supercharger stations up, and then you're going to be able to pretty much go anywhere in a Tesla because you'll have those stations and you'll be able to charge up and just drive. But right now, that's not the problem for most people. The problem for most people is the fact they can't afford a Tesla Model S or Model X. Now, Elon Musk said that the Tesla Model 3 is aimed to be $35,000 before tax incentives. Or, not tax incentives. Let's just say incentives. And in certain states, like Massachusetts, the incentives for purchasing an electric vehicle are very close to $10,000, meaning that $35,000 vehicle is going to be knocked down to $25,000. And if it has range, which is anywhere even near a Tesla Model S or X, which we don't really know about the X yet, but we do know about the S, that is going to be a really damn good price for something like that. And I cannot wait to see the Model 3 come out. I'm extremely excited for it. Because if you saw anything of the Tesla Model X at CES 2015, you'll probably know that a lot of people got excited for it because it just looks so good. Ow. My bad. One thing people are concerned about with the Model X is those falcon wing doors. They are impressive, and I think they're going to serve their purpose, which is to give a lot more headroom when you're getting into the vehicle.
Warning, landing gear not deployed.
But a lot of people are concerned that
Landing gear
the
deployed.
way it is right now, where am I supposed to land? The way it is right now is that the side of the doors are sort of curved a little bit, which means that they're probably going to let water leak in a lot. And I really hope, if that's the case, that they fix it very soon. Because I think the Model X is going to be a fantastic vehicle once it's out. Tesla just has to make a few more small improvements to it, such as making it so water doesn't leak in when something like that happens.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Oh, I just noticed I'm wanted. Why am I wanted? Anywho, so I think the Tesla Model X is going to be great. The Model S is already a fantastic vehicle. The Roadster is still a good vehicle, even though it's a few years old. Which I shouldn't say it like that, as being a few years old doesn't mean it's going to instantly stop being a good vehicle. But the Roadster is still a very, very good vehicle, and it's very expensive, which is why not many people have them. But the Model S is great, and the Model 3 is going to be a cheaper, more bare-bones version of the Model S, and I'm fine with that. And also something I wanted to talk about was I recently got a Corsair K65 RGB keyboard, and for anyone that has been thinking about getting this keyboard but maybe was hesitant to solely because of that logo, which I did not like the logo at all. You end up just sort of forgetting about it entirely, because I have a profile for mine right now, which is an orange, and then it has a red pulse going up over and over again, which is I specifically made for Elite Dangerous, and you do not notice that logo at all. You just kind of forget about it. You only see the lights. So I just wanted to point that out in case anyone was like, because I know I was, and I'm pretty happy with the purchase. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Went through SpaceX, early access games, there's 9, K65. I think that's about it, unless I can find something last minute here. Give me a moment. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. So, that's it for the podcast section of this stream. If you're watching the video on demand on YouTube, which I will be uploading, I will have the rest of the stream available on twitch.tv/theangryalien. So if you want to hear my opinions on Elite Dangerous, or just watch me probably bump into some more stuff, you can go there and watch it. I'm probably not going to upload that part to YouTube, but then again, I may reconsider. And I hope you enjoyed listening and or watching, be it on Twitch over the live stream, or YouTube, or the Twitch video on demand, and possibly even just listening, as I may still upload an audio file to SoundCloud. So that completes it for the podcast section of the stream. Now I'll give my opinions on Elite Dangerous, I suppose. Again, thanks for watching and or listening, and I'll be on the Twitch VOD. See you next time.